This is WJTV News Channel 12 this morning.
You've probably noticed this. Advertisers like using the color red in ads because it's eye-catching. It stands out. Farmers know it too, and around this time of year, they just can't help but sell out of their juicy, plump, deep red produce. Folks, welcome to tomato season. Good morning from Mayhew Tomato Farm, this week's farm family of Mississippi.
We'll just pour them out there.
It takes a good amount of time to sort the fruit,
Get some water.
but not nearly as long as the decades it took Melvin Ellis to sort out his career.
I actually have a chemical engineering degree and a law degree. Tomorrow it'll be quite a bit redder than it is today.
Out here at his Lowndes County farm, there's a lot of talk about having the right timing.
When you buy one of my tomatoes, it's probably been picked within the last 3 or 4 days and picked, at a ripening stage. If you buy one in the store, it's been traveling at least a minimum of 5 days it's been traveling. And it may have been stored in a warehouse as long as 2 weeks. And every day it's stored at below 50, it loses flavor. This will be about the maximum size of this tomato.
But he's just a hard worker. As hard a worker as I've ever been around. And we have spits and spats, but family never falls out hardly.
MC Ellis says the farm's been in his family about 130 years, but his son's been working it for around 15, leaving his job as a lawyer.
So I pick it this color, bring it in, let it ripen up, it'll get nice and red.
So now his cases are only full of tomatoes like these little ones called New Girls. And at this part of the field, we have the Mountain Springs variety being grown. These are the really big kinds where you slice them, it covers the entire face of the sandwich. A very popular type of tomato out here, but just one of 10 varieties that are actually grown at the farm.
All farming depends on is the elements. It's a gift of God. It dictates what happens in this farming business. You can either feast or famine. We are so versatile now that, we may not make it any sizable dent on the bottom line, but we're not going to lose every crop.
And this one here has started to turn white. Like I've told a lot of people, the thing about practicing law is when you go see your lawyer, you're mad at somebody, and when you leave, you're usually mad at your lawyer. When you come here, you're happy to see me. You're happy to buy my product. It's always a pleasant visit. When you leave, you're happy to come back and buy some more. So it's a wholly different atmosphere, and it's one that's maybe not as lucrative in some ways, but a lot more lucrative in other ways.
And there's not a lot of waste at Mayhew Tomato Farm. They take these smaller, unsellable ones and use them in sauces, salsas, and juice. They actually need 3,000 pounds of tomatoes to make juice to meet their high demand. If this isn't common knowledge for you yet, well, how about a bit of education? Ask pretty much anyone where you can find the best watermelon in the state of Mississippi, and you'll hear all about one place, Smith County. So let's take you to the heart of it at Ford Farms, this morning's farm family of Mississippi. Crack open a rind here, you might discover gold.
People say, oh, well, I don't want no yellow meat or watermelon because that's just not what I was raised on. But if we give them a slice of the yellow meat, people actually prefer the yellow meat over the red meat.
Well, 21-year-old Katie Ford says they actually have it all here at Ford Farms, where she works alongside her sister.
I think of like money signs. This is ready to sell.
Maddie, a 14-year-old.
Working with her is good and bad. I mean, she's always bossing me around because she's older, but I guess she's been around it longer and knows a little bit more.
Well, I've grown up here all my life. From the time I was even able to walk, before I could walk, I was in the watermelon field. This year, we were late planting because late frost in late April almost killed everything we had. We're lucky enough to have good rain and okay temperatures to still have and produce good quality Smith County watermelons.
And check out this little guy here. He's still plumping up. Farmers say that they actually try to plant their watermelons so they're ready by the 4th of July. And after that holiday, they tend to be smaller, but not because they're not growing. It's just because most of the larger ones are picked for that holiday.
I mean, they're all ripe and they're all good, and I just like for the bigger ones, kind of the fatter ones, so you can have more meat or heart inside of the watermelon so you can get more for your money.
I remember last year, me and my dad came to the field and we found this melon. It was like 53 pounds. This is probably like 35 pounds. He usually just comes by and tells me like, hey, this one's ready because look at the stem on it, or this one needs to stand a little bit longer to get better size to it. I mean, I'm just still learning, really.
It's big. It's big.
Katie's still learning too. Currently, she's pursuing an agriculture degree at Mississippi State.
She's growing up just the way I did. And since I've grown up on a family farm, then I can't stop. Basically, it's in my blood and I can't stop.
And for Maddie there, we'd like to wish her a happy 15th birthday tomorrow on Sunday. She told me, unfortunately, she can't stay out too late because she has to get out on the field early. I told her that I know the feeling.
Well, maybe you're tasting it in a rich cream at Walker's Drive-In or a thick dessert at Mama Hamil's, or hey, if you're getting a milkshake at the revamped Brent's Drugs, you've had it. Some of the best known restaurants in the metro get their milk from one small dairy farm out of Neshoba County. Beeson Family Farms is this week's farm family of Mississippi. These young calves are getting weaned off the milk, but Steve Beeson says since he ended his career,
it's hard for me to keep up with all of them's birthdays.
There's been absolutely no decline in work.
Retired on a Thursday and started here for my son on Friday morning. I usually do the milking. I milk in the morning and the afternoon, and I help them bottle occasionally.
We started with about 6 or 7 cows, and as our sales have grown and we built our customer base, we've added cows. You know, it's a picture of a cow on our milk label. It's this cow here.
Shelby Beeson says right now the cows are producing between 900 and 1,000 gallons of milk a week.
And then it goes into this tank here, and this is our raw milk storage tank.
And he says these Jersey cows have better lives than in many large-scale operations.
They have them on smaller areas, so the cows are on concrete 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whereas our cows are on concrete for 2 hours a day. The rest of the time they're out on pasture.
Right now the farm milks just 26 cows, but actually owns around 50 of them. These are the future generation born this spring.
In a lot of cases, those more health conscious people are raising small kids on our milk. They have confidence in me and my family that we're producing something safe and wholesome to raise their kids on.
I like being at home with my family. It's just rewarding to spend quality time with them. Even though you are working, you're getting to know them. You know, you don't go off to work and after 10 hours come home and you're ready to go to bed then, you know. And it just spends the whole day and week after week with them. Really nice.
And the cows are given no hormones or antibiotics, and their milk, of course, is pasteurized but not homogenized. That means that the cream and fat rises to the top over time. The family says the bottles just need a good shake before you pour them. Good old-fashioned.